Hello and welcome. My name is Katie, and today I have Rick here. He is with Title Ease. I met him at a conference over in Las Vegas for digital mortgage, and I was really interested in his company and I wanted to bring him on to talk about it. So thank you for joining.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for inviting me, Katie. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. So you have a very interesting concept on a way to make owning a title company a little bit more within reach for a wide variety of people that are interested in opening title companies. So could you go into a little bit about what you do?
So the title franchise concept was born about 3 to 4 years ago. Our parent company is Lincoln Abstract and Settlement Services. They've been in business about 14 years doing, title work closings nationwide, whole 9 yards. So we decided to take what we do and expand that out to a franchise model for, anywhere from brokers, lenders, realtors, institutions, some entrepreneurs that have, come on and got title companies. And the
Mhm.
way the concept works is basically you buy in for a franchise fee, a nominal fee. It's only $10,000, which if you try to start your own title company, you cannot get an attorney on retainer for $10,000.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're setting you up with everything you need to launch your business within a matter of weeks. And you are able to immediately start closing loans. The way the concept works is you're doing all the client facing touches. We're handling middle and back office. So we're doing the heavy lifting. So based on that concept, you only need one person for every 50 loans to close. Whereas if you had your own title company, you would probably need about 6 to 8 people to do that kind of work. So
Hmm.
the economics are very good. Again, we're taking care of pulling title. We're reviewing title, curative if necessary. We are also working with the insurers for the policies. And then we are also handling escrow transfer of funds. So again, we want our franchisees just to focus on getting business in the door. That's the job.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I was very impressed by because it's hard to try and find out any information about how to open a title company just almost anywhere that you look. So then basically it seems like you do obviously a partnership where you kind of show them the ropes and then do everything on the back end. So what are some of the challenges that they would usually face that you kind of take the reins so that way they can do what they like to do, which is, the customer
Yeah,
facing.
the biggest challenges is one, getting an entity set up. We can help with that too. Okay, as far as licensing and things of that nature.
Mhm.
Which states require an escrow licensed person working at the franchisee's company, and which ones do not. So we've got all of the behind the scenes, because we're licensed in all these places too. We also take care of any policies, procedures, any updates for the state regulatory. We take care of all that. We disseminate that. You don't need an attorney for any of this. We have 3 attorneys on staff for everything, for anything that comes up. But basically, those are a lot of your challenges hiring people. We also
Mhm.
help with that. So we will give you a job description. So you can post that out in your local area. And you'll get resumes in, of course. We'll help go through them. We'll interview people for you. The candidates you think look the best, our president will actually sit down and interview. And we're interviewing not just for knowledge base, but for a good cultural fit.
Mhm.
Because this person is going to probably be your key person to drive everything and work with us as well. Like I said, we're the way the process works is we're both in the system together working. Client, our franchisee opens up the file. That's a touch for your very knowledgeable people watching this. We are 100% RESPA compliant. Okay, which means we meet all the regulatory vetted by a compliance law firm as well, and we've actually been in front of the CFPB as well for this. So the biggest, I think, advantage of this isn't what we call a joint venture. This is a true partnership. You own your own company. You name it whatever you want. It's white labeled. It's yours. So you're building enterprise value. You're building a company that has value down the road that if you wanted to sell it, transfer it, do whatever you want, it's yours. But we don't tell you how to run your business. Okay. We advise and help. Like we had somebody that was struggling, and our CEO and CFO flew down there, opened the books up, walked them through. Okay, well, if you're not, you need to be a little leaner over here. Okay. I mean, and so it's just kind of again, we want every franchisee to succeed, obviously. And like I said, we share in the fees. So, very lucrative title if you're not familiar with, the fees at closing, and think about 50% of that and what that can mean.
Yeah. So I had a question for you as far as what is the like for anyone that has no idea about the title company, industry at all, what's the typical kind of yearly yield that is something that you can aspire to for opening up a title company and then just kind of jumping into it?
I mean, off the top of my head, I can give it, like some of the main states, for example, Florida, for
Hmm.
example. So in Florida, if you're looking at about a $500,000 home, okay, which is, in the metropolitan areas, it's not even a starter home anymore, really.
No.
So, but if you're looking at about, $500,000, 20 loans a month, if you were to hire an escrow officer, let's say at around $72,000 a year, and then some other ancillary, fees and costs that go into this, you're looking at yielding probably somewhere in the vicinity about 25 to $26,000 net a month on 20 loans.
On
So
20 loans?
on 20 loans, correct. So you're looking at over 300,000 in profit a year with that one person on 20 loans. Now, the way the business performer works is you can utilize one person up to 50 loans. And then
Hmm.
once you hit 50, we recommend maybe bringing in a processor level, not as, strong as the escrow officer, but somebody that understands and has been working through closings before. So they know the documents, they know, they work for title companies and things of that nature. So then exponentially, those numbers go up, obviously.
So, does your company come in and kind of show the best practices of like how to automate everything and how to kind of like which systems to use within the business? So that way it makes sense because like if I were to step in, everything would be on Excel spreadsheets, which probably wouldn't be the best.
No, no, this is everything's turnkey for you. It's already set
Okay.
up. Okay, so we're
Mhm.
utilizing Resware as the software platform.
Okay.
And Resware is a workflow process.
Hmm.
So, as soon as our client opens up the file, we're notified. So
Okay.
basically we're notified. So, now we go take care of our piece of it, then they're notified. The client is notified that they've got to go do this. So we're back and forth in the file working with everything. So, we have, IM set up, things to communicate, with each other constantly. So there's no, and a couple other things, there's some software that's needed, Adobe Pro, but we
Hmm.
provide, basically all that to you. I mean, it's a pass-through charge, but it's what's required in order to move documents electronically back and forth. Can't use older versions. Everything has to be more current for everything to work properly. But yes, it's
Okay.
all turnkey and set up, and we do a 4-day training session
That's
as well.
yeah.
Yep. So we come on site for 4 days and we'll train 2 people, how to utilize the system. And we
Hmm.
understand that, after we leave and after things get going, there's going to be a little bit of hand holding, and, we'll do a little more work for the first month or two. No big deal. You're still going to split everything 50-50 because it's a pretty robust system. Once you get the hang of it, then, you're back and forth in it, no problem.
So, do you typically see clients that have already been in the title industry, or do you see people that have like no idea kind of how to go into it, but they've heard how lucrative title companies can be and then just kind of jump into it? Like, what's your typical client?
The answer is yes, by the way, to that, which means it's all the above. So we have, a very large lender that had a title company in one state and saw the business model and said, why do I want to go open up a brick and mortar in every one of these states? So they were actually rolling out a franchise in about 8 states. We've got some, hedge fund that has doing nothing but buy and sell REOs. So they're
Mhm.
getting a franchise so that they can do all, the closings and things through their own company.
What does
So,
R what does REO stand for?
to answer your question, REO stands for real estate owned.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
basically these are properties that have been foreclosed on. Now the bank or institution owns it. They don't want to be in the, they don't want to own a piece of property that doesn't have somebody in it paying. So they'll turn around and sell it pennies on the dollar to an investor to take the
Okay.
property over. Okay, they can either go in and see about, rehabbing it, because a lot of times things have gone through foreclosure, the property isn't left in the best condition. So they, got to fix it up, make it look pretty again to get it out on the market. Or they
Yeah.
may just turn around and sell it to another REO buyer if they don't want to keep that one in their portfolio. So we've got entrepreneurs. We have a servicer that has their own title company. We've got a myriad of different, and anybody that, again, aspires to open up a business, low investment. It's only $10,000 for the franchise. And we're not really changing that, even whether you're a big institution, $1 billion institution, or whether you're a high-end realtor, that decides, you know what, I want to start driving all my listings to my own title company. It's
Yeah.
the same, because we don't want to price it so that a realtor or a broker or somebody can't go own their own company. So it gives everybody an opportunity to invest in starting their own company.
Yeah, because we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but I was talking to a fairly high volume real estate company, so a realty company that does high volume, but they don't always have, their clients don't always have the best experience with using various other title companies.
Mhm.
So this use case is exactly what I was thinking about and wanted to highlight, is that, if you have a high volume of real estate closings and you want to have more control, like I feel like this would be the perfect solution. Because even if you don't want to necessarily learn the entire industry of learning all the back end of the title company
Mhm.
stuff, it would be like a really, really good partnership. So I just kind of wanted to.
Well, yeah, and to the point of a high-end realtor, if
Mhm.
they're out there selling, an average of 1 million to 3 million a home,
Yeah.
and you get another realtor that's working in an area that's only $200,000-300,000 homes, that one realtor doing 2 or 3 multi-million-dollar transactions a month, and the other one over here doing 10 or 15. Keep in mind, the fees are based on the amounts of the loan. So the higher the value of that closing, okay, the higher the fees.
Okay.
So it's not based on numbers,
Yeah.
as in, loan count. It's based on the mortgage amount, if you will. So
So.
a high-end realtor, doing, somebody doing, commercial and does
Mhm.
one $10,000, commercial loan a month is worth what, 20 $500,000 homes.
Yeah. So essentially, that real estate person that was doing the high end, if they opened up their own title company, then they would basically get to retain that fee that they would usually pay out the title company, correct? So then they would have.
Well, yeah, the
Yeah.
fees on the closings, that you see, go to the title company. Nothing goes to the realtor. Nothing, goes to the lender. It's all kept within title.
Yeah.
So now this is an opportunity for someone to earn half of those fees
Yeah.
and do minimal amount of work, just
Mhm.
again, the client facing touches, which is important again, because when I came on board, I did my due diligence with this concept first.
Mhm.
And my younger brother is an LO and has been for 20 something years. And
Yeah.
while he loves his title company, he loves the people working there, he still gets frustrated because he's got his client, yelling at when are we closing? He's got the realtor asking when are things closing, and this he's calling over titles like, I don't know, let me check on that for you. 3 hours go by. He's calling over there again. Did you find out yet? No, so and so's in the closing. I don't know yet. So you basically forego all that. It's your
Mhm.
company. If
Yeah.
you have let's say you got somebody moving from New York to Florida, that doesn't happen very often, does it? Every day. It seems like they're coming in droves, but nonetheless, we love New York. So let's just say they got to close a day early up there. So the
Mhm.
funds have to get transferred. So you want to close a day early down in Florida, it's your title company. You can move things around, put it
Yeah.
to the top of the list, get that taken care of. You don't
Mhm.
necessarily get that with your title company because they have other clients, that they're trying to service as well. And they've only got so much staff. The other beauty of what we're offering is we have 3 business partners that basically work with us, that can come in when we have spikes in volume, and can
Mhm.
come in and pick up some of the load and do the work for us. We extend that same offer to our franchisees to work directly with our partners. So if you all of a sudden have a spike in volume and you got one person or 2 people working, like, instead of working 15 16-hour days to get it closed, you'll just reach out to your point of contact and say, look, I need you guys to work on these 2 loans for us. Okay, knock
Okay.
this out for us. You basically have your own outsourced group that you
Mhm.
can, push information, push responsibilities off to, and they're already working with us. So they already know the reservoir system. They know the profiles, the way we set them up. They come in and there's no training involved. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. That's I feel like worth its weight in gold because usually like when I am talking with the different title companies or I see some of the posts where they're like, we're swamped, we need a closer, to do this amount of volume. And then I've talked to them and they're like, we still have to train them while we're also
Yeah.
doing 16-hour days and we don't know that they're going to stay. So, they don't know your system and it is super daunting to try and train someone when you're already overloaded at that point. And then
Well, and let me add something to that point
mhm,
too, is we're also QCing our franchisees' work because they're passing it off to us. We're looking at it.
yeah,
Okay. We're reviewing it to do next steps. If there's
mhm,
any issues with it when it gets passed off to us, we immediately go right back to them and tell them we need you to correct this, or we need you to add this. Okay. And we push it back and then they get it done, it comes right back to us. Again,
mhm,
we're notified in real time, back and forth with everything, but we're QCing everything. So
okay.
so they don't have to, worry about making mistakes before closing because we're your backstop, basically.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that just in general because we were talking earlier about, and I think I wanted to highlight this, is how much would it be if I wanted to open up my own title company with no outside help and or to buy a pre-existing title company, how much am I looking at usually?
All right, so two questions with two different answers.
Yep,
One
sorry.
is, it's okay for us. I mean, to get started with us all in, okay, right
Mhm,
out of the gate, it's only
mhm,
14,000. That's 10,000 for the franchise. That's a reservoir license, because in order to work in reservoir, you have to have a license at 1,600. And we charge 2,400 for the 4 days on-site training. It's
mhm,
one time. Okay. And if somebody, depending, we can work with them on the franchise fee over, a couple months or whatnot. That's a non-issue. To start your own, or to buy a company, we had someone look at buying one in Florida. It was the cheapest one they could find to buy was an initial investment of $700,000. So, but the other issue that comes along with buying a company, okay,
mhm.
is you don't know what you're buying until you
Yeah.
buy it. You can go look at the books all day long, but you can't sit down and spend time and see how efficient everybody is, or inefficient they are, until you take it over. And then you really got to sit back and go, okay, how many loans are we doing? How many bodies do I have?
Mhm.
And how can we increase production without increasing headcount? So with our model, you don't have that issue.
Yeah.
Okay, one person for every 50 loans. Okay, we have, pressure valve. If you need to offload to one of our business partners directly,
Mhm.
so they can help
Mhm.
out. But you don't have to add bodies, FTEs. So as far as starting one is concerned, oh, I wouldn't even know where to begin with that one. Like I said, the first thing you have to do is get an attorney. Okay,
Yeah.
to get that started. There's so many regulatory items that have to be put in policies, procedures, things of that nature. You're going to have to hire somebody that's very well versed, escrow officer that's also probably acts as a business person, get that off the ground, research the different, what technologies you want to use in there for your own title company. Um, Typically brick and mortar. Again, we're set up with business partners for all of the e-closings, you know,
Mhm.
e e-notaries, Ron's,
Yes. Yeah.
and whatnot. So we've got everything set up for you. You just basically need to sign up and again, hire the right person. We help with that and you launch. And we're right there with you the entire way to get this thing going.
So are you available in all 50 states or is it only specific ones that you partner with different states locations?
We're in like 42 right now.
Okay.
We'll be in about 45 soon. There's a few states that we have business partners in and we have work share set up
Mhm.
with them. One of them is California. And the reason
Okay.
being is it's very expensive, over $2 million to get licensed in all the counties. And it takes probably a little over 2 years.
Yeah.
Oregon is another very expensive, $1 million for a seat license. Washington's expensive, Idaho, Boise is split into 2 counties. Each
Mhm.
county is $1 million. So,
Jeez.
yeah, so there's certain counties it doesn't make sense, but we do have work share programs where,
Mhm.
you can still send the loans from your title company wherever. You can send it to our business partner, if you will, and you will get paid something off the settlement fees. It just won't be the 50/50 because
Okay.
again, they're doing the work, but you will get some of the fees for that.
So I also wanted to highlight something else that I think is important. Well, in general for me, because I always like being able to work remote for pretty much everything. Like my whole entire career basically is remote at this point. But that is a business model that you can essentially make for this, correct? Like you do not have to have a brick and mortar for a title company, correct? Or
Well,
what would you
well,
advise?
it depends on the state. Yes, like for example, Texas requires a brick and mortar. Now,
Okay.
what we do and what we tell people
Mhm.
is unless you already have a space, like with an existing company of yours, and you can parse out an area for the title. If you don't have anything, okay, you can go get a Regis office. If you're not
Okay.
familiar with what Regis is, those are buildings in various cities
Mhm.
where you basically like it's like a leasing an
Like a
executive
WeWork.
office. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like an executive office, you'll have
Mhm.
when you come in, there'll be a reception area. You've got your name up on the wall over there. You get, shared use of a conference room.
Mhm.
And then you have an office there. Okay, so that satisfies the state's requirements for brick and mortar.
Okay.
Okay. The states
Yeah.
that you don't, like Florida, you can operate out of anywhere, and your people can be virtually anywhere because
Mhm.
everything we do is electronic.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
because I mean, for the longest time, you usually would have to, do everything remotely in general when you're buying a house, and then the only point where you would have to physically go into some place to sign the documents would be the notarization process. So more and more mortgage companies and lenders and underwriters are allowing remote online notarization. So that really kind of incentivizes the pretty much everyone to be able to do everything remotely for the whole entire home buying process. So that is something that is a little bit exciting for me.
I think, having lived here in Tampa, since I was just a little wee guy, since 1970, yeah, a lot of your title companies are still operating the same way they've always done. You got to come in, you got to do this. Things are
Yeah,
changing.
yeah.
Okay. As you well know, being in the e-notary space, we can do faster closings. People don't have to be sitting in an office. And so the technology is and our system is plugged directly API right in with Encompass.
Mhm.
So if somebody's working on Encompass, they can work directly with us to get everything taken care of as far as closings are concerned without ever having to go outside of Encompass.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say that, like, 100%, I think that it is going to be the norm instead of the exception because I'm still very heavily involved with the notaries and hearing their stories and also doing some notarizations. But it's nice because, anytime that I work with title companies, usually when they send out the little explanation of, everything that they're doing to the signers, they're like, don't go on vacation anywhere near your closing time, and that inevitably happens for whatever reason. And usually in the past, it would hold up the whole entire thing. It would be very, very difficult, especially if they were overseas. But now, with remote online notarization, I notarized a document for someone that was over in Switzerland at a golf tournament. So it's like,
Yeah.
it happens all the time where it's just sometimes it is like extenuating circumstances, and sometimes it's a mom that's doing a home closing that just had a baby and does not want to go into a title company. So
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
yeah.
We've even, to your point on that,
Mhm.
talking about the way things are changing, we're working with a company right now that specializes in nothing but bringing foreign nationals in helping them buy homes in the
Mhm.
US.
Mhm.
And it's been a little clunky, it's a you know broad term, for him working with some of the title companies in the various states that he's trying to close in. So
Yeah.
we're talking to him about, have your own title company.
Mhm.
Okay. you can basically, every one of your foreign nationals that reach out to you, you can basically, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have a broker reach out to you. We're gonna close with this, my title company, so that we make
Hmm.
sure we, get everything done in a timely manner. We electronically can take care of everything. Because right now, a lot of them have to go to the
Embassies
consulates
and
or
consulates.
the
Yeah.
embassies, yeah, in order to get things. So to your point, they have to physically walk over into the place and do all this. So
Yeah.
this is gonna, having his own company, he'll be able to let them sit right there in their own living room or wherever, golfing, be able to close things. But he can't do that when he's using multiple different title companies across the country.
Yeah. One of the things that I kind of wanted to highlight is that's honestly like I do the marketing and sales for Pro Notary, and that's one of the biggest kind of hurdles for me is not showcasing the software, but introducing the entire concept that that is a thing. Because I had a client that was like, "Oh yeah, I saw one of your reels on Instagram and I didn't know that you could, help do the closings for someone that was in a foreign country." And it was a title company and she's like, "I just had someone drive 300 miles to an embassy and wait like 4 hours to get their to get
Wow.
their thing notarized." And I was like, "Well, now you know next time. Don't tell
Yeah.
them that they could have just stayed at home. Like next time now you know."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think with, every decade, we're going to get better. Younger generation, which is more electronically savvy, is going to be looking for, who could I do this electronically with? I don't want to
Yeah.
go into this place. So we're all going to have to be more nimble. And like I said, we're providing that for any of our, franchisees, that want to
Mhm.
come on board, is providing that ability to have everything at your fingertips, electronic, everything, so that you don't have to, you're moving forward with technology, not living in the past the way a lot of companies are doing it.
Yeah, but we'll get there. They'll kind of see. I think sometimes it just takes a couple different examples of like this is what we're doing, this is how it works, and then other people kind of adopt it. But if you're at the forefront of these types of industries and adopting those first, there's definitely a little bit of a leg up.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
look, it's human nature. You don't know what you don't know. We've all heard
Hmm.
that saying, right? It's
Yeah.
our jobs to educate and get out. And, videos that you're doing are a great medium, to get this information out there, because it does go viral and people can, learn through that process that they otherwise wouldn't even know what to go research,
No.
if it wasn't for, pushing this type of information out there for everyone to run into at some point.
Yeah, no, it is funny when I kind of sometimes get contacted by some pretty big companies that are like, "Oh yeah, I saw your TikTok." And I'm like, Which one?" Okay.
Which
So,
one?
yeah, well, sometimes I have like it's social media has been amazingly helpful for, a lot of different people to have this information come out, but it's funny the way that we're advertising now because a reel of a meme that I made of partnerships between title companies and remote online notaries goes viral and then a company contacts me because of a reel and it just doesn't make any
That's
sense. But
great. No,
I
that's great. I mean, it's innovation. I haven't done any TikTok videos yet. I haven't done any, I haven't, nothing unreal. If any videos of my personal life have showed up, I don't know about it. But but yeah, no, that's great though. Like I said, you're
yeah.
reaching an audience that these are the mediums that they use in, out every day.
Hmm.
That that same audience may not be on LinkedIn seeing things, Facebook, because
Hmm.
things are trending. The generations are looking for different mediums that satisfy what they're trying to accomplish day in, day out. And
Yeah.
others, are using traditional mediums. So I think having a blend is a great idea, to
Hmm.
do both or all of
Yeah.
the above.
I do think that sometimes that this is more on a personal note, but I think it's funny sometimes where I'll make a meme about remote online notarization and then I'll, write an article about how we're using artificial intelligence and machine learning in mortgages and everything. And I'm like, what a difference, but it's still both kind of accomplishing the same thing, it's marketing and like kind of getting our name out there. So it's marketing is interesting. I'll
No,
tell
no,
you.
no. Well, and again, it's educating yourself and staying on top of, like I have a marketing firm we use for things because I wouldn't otherwise know how 10, 15, 20 years ago, I had a company that I owned that I took care of, I had sales and the marketing and all that.
Mhm.
But marketing today is nothing like it was 10, 15 years ago. It's not even close.
No.
So I just bowed out and said, yeah, I'm not worthy, and give it to somebody else now that is, that
Yeah.
can take care of everything for us.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Know,
definitely
know, know
there's
your strengths and weaknesses. That's what I say.
yeah. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to kind of say is, or ask you, is how best to contact you, because I'm sure there's people that will want to learn more, because I mean, off the top of my head, I've been referring some different people that are interested in owning a business with a little bit more hand holding or a little bit more help than just opening a brand new business. So how can we find you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, so it's Rick, and last name is Bissen, which you can see on the screen,
Mhm.
Bissen.
Mhm.
Also R Bissen at titleease.io. So that's title with an E and then ease with an E. So it's two E's in the middle there.
Mhm.
.io. So either one of those, you reach out to me and be happy to have a conversation, share the very comprehensive deck on the franchise model. So you
Mhm.
kind of can really dig in and see what it's all about. And then, like I said, we can walk through, a state pro forma with you, show you how you earn money.
Mhm.
And yeah, so we'll make sure we give you everything you need to make a sound decision.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me. I think that this is going to be super, super helpful. And I wanted to introduce this as a concept to people that want to be able to open a business or start a business, and see the price point of how much it would be to open a title company on their own. And I wanted to introduce this as a really, really good option. So thank you for sitting down with me.
No, thanks for reaching out. I really do appreciate it. And
Of
yeah,
course.
looking forward to work with you more in the future. And yeah, best of
Yeah.
adventures out there.
Yeah.
Try to stay dry in our wonderful humid state of
I
Florida,
know.
which is
Yeah.
brutal right now.
I
So
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
love
Well,
our summers.
love our summers, yes. The golfing will get better later. So, yeah.
Exactly.
But thank you so much. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And then also, our remote online notarization software platform is www.pronotary.com. Thank you.